It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in cinema, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And Murray, who is the only one I know who loves Christmas and Ryan Reynolds so much that he signed up for Apple TV just to watch Spirited. Did you watch anything else on Apple TV before you canceled it, Merman?
No.
Nothing else?
I did watch Right Around Christmas at Jim's house, though.
Well, that's exciting.
Which I would have watched anyway.
Nice.
Did they? Okay, the version I saw was I thought it was Apple TV. Did they have
edited.
3 things on it?
It was edited.
There was Charlie Brown Christmas,
Yes.
but then there was another Christmas special.
Yes.
Then there was some weird dance thing.
Yes.
That was horrible.
It's so much Charlie Brown.
Thank
The
you.
first 2 were
Thank
good.
You, Apple.
But the dancing, I don't even know what it was. It's a Charlie Brown dance-off. It had nothing to do with Christmas.
Well, you know what?
You mean a New Year's
we're
special
missing in
too.
this world is more Charlie Brown
Exactly.
dance-offs.
That's why
No,
I
we
own the DVD.
we don't, because it was terrible.
Aw, poor Charlie Brown.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
And that makes Bryce a blockhead. Oh, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on our listening platform or even your listening platform. And support us by joining the Film Rage community and joining a membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. And you know what? We will watch it if it played in cinemas anywhere in the world. Now, let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadow Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5, $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
I think Charlie Brown put some pep in Bryce's step. And see, I rhymed there. I didn't mean to, but I did it just by habit.
You're a poet. You don't even know it.
I'm so good sometimes I surprise myself. So we saw a couple movies in cinemas before we get to the big event.
Did we?
Yes,
How
we
long ago
did.
I forget.
I know. It seems like last year or something.
It was like last year.
Yeah.
What did we see?
We saw The Whale.
And what else did we see?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
When have we ever sat there and listed off everything we're doing?
That's true. I don't know. We're doing a list today, so I figured maybe we would just change it up.
He's in a listy mode.
I'm in a listy
Let's
mode.
just
I'm in a listy mode.
let's just do one thing at a time.
Let's do the whale.
Do you want me to combine my reviews of this one and then I'll read one line from it?
That'd be fun.
I don't think it would be. So The Whale. The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky and starring Brendan Fraser, is a story of Charlie, a man who has given up on himself but continues to believe in the people around him. He has a best friend, Liz, played by Hong Chow, who looks out for him and enables him at the same time. She truly cares for Charlie and tries to protect him from his inability to see bad in people. Sadie Sink plays Ellie, Charlie's daughter, in the best performance of her young career. Her anger and resentment drives her every move. She's a ball of rage, and she makes it her mission to make those around her uncomfortable. We also have a young church missionary, Thomas, played by Ty Simpkins. He wants desperately to save Charlie, believing that may be the way to save himself. And finally, we have Mary, Charlie's ex-wife, played by the always brilliant Samantha Martin.
Always brilliant.
She is an undeniable force in any role she takes on, which once again is the case here. She commands the screen like few other actors. As Mary, she is devastated by what Charlie has become. She is disappointed in herself because of the mother she is, and she wallows in sadness with the help of the bottle. You can see the pain and the rejection and the anger in this performance. She loves Charlie, even after everything that has happened. She's basically in one scene, but she does what she does and makes it the best scene in the movie. In the wrong hands, this film could have been a train wreck, but Aronofsky is able to define every character in this so well that you care about them and understand the tragic flaws of each one of them. This is a devastating movie with devastating performances. This movie is Mondo, and I never want to see it again.
I'm with you.
We may be saying this a few times in this episode. I'm just giving some foreshadowing to later in the podcast. But, all right. I believe I agreed with almost everything that you said, except for one thing, which you're going to find out.
Oh, I figured you
Very
didn't agree
quickly.
with one thing. But yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Just one.
Yeah, but it's an important thing, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Maybe.
I know what it is, so yeah.
Do you? Oh, yeah.
We
That's
saw-
right.
we
We
saw it
talked
together.
about it, yeah. God damn you, Brendan Fraser and Darren Aronofsky. The number of years I've waited for a story about a male character as powerful as a film like Elle or Woman on the Roof, and I thought I would make it another year without one, and you bring me The Whale. Never have I seen a character so rich and full as this film created for a male character. Oh, I was so excited. I had slow dripping tears through this entire film that built to a crescendo when the floodgates opened and had me crying the entire way home in the car. There was moments of humor to allow me to dry my tears, which I thank the writer for. These little tiny breaks of despair that they gave me. Brendan Fraser took me to places I never thought him capable of, with a character so deep and well-rounded, no pun intended. Most of the cast was brilliant, especially by Sadie Sink?
Yeah.
Of the Stranger Things fame. We've seen her in
took
other
it to another
things.
level, yeah.
She took her abilities, and in watching Stranger Things, I've always thought she was the strongest character actor in the film, and she just proved it in this film for sure. There seemed like all the characters except one, which I personally felt out of place, and that was by Samantha Morton. In my opinion, she was the weakest of the cast.
Wow.
Yep. I found, I don't know what you were which scene you were watching of her, but when she was there, I was kind of like, every other character had so much dynamics to them, and for me, she felt flat. So, it's
Weird.
That's me. Yeah, that is kind of weird. I cannot give enough praise for the character study that defies boundaries and all expectations that I've ever had for a male character. Brendan Fraser, I will never watch Encino Man again and question your talent, and I give it a standing ovation for 10 minutes. You, the whale, are the Moby Dick of Mondos.
Ah, so it wasn't what I thought.
Oh, you thought I wasn't going to give it a Mondo?
I thought maybe you weren't.
Oh, no.
But your problem was with Samantha
Yeah,
Morton.
I really had problems with her.
Whoever has a problem with Samantha Morton?
I don't know. When we were watching, didn't I turn to you in the movie, Murray?
Yeah, you mentioned something about her. To be honest, I didn't recognize her.
That's the thing about
the only
Samantha
thing I
Morton is
ever
you never
remember-
recognize
Yeah.
her.
Only
I
thing
would agree.
Ever
She's a
remember her
chameleon.
from is from Super Mario Brothers movie.
Which she was the best thing in that too.
I don't. I
She's
try
the
to forget
best
that
thing
I've
in
seen that
everything.
movie.
It was like earlier in her career.
Yeah, she
but
wasn't
yeah,
definitely
she
the
was
best thing in
female
this
lead
movie.
To all
I think
other-
she was.
No way.
movies
She was
there.
the. In my opinion, she was the worst. So
So yeah, I had nothing to compare it to. But she
okay,
was-
Murray. Then maybe then you can be the decider. I love it when Murray's the decider. The decider.
I don't know. She wasn't the most Mondo thing in the movie for me, but she was okay.
There you go. Okay. So she wasn't great. All right.
All right, Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Where have you been?
Yes.
With the exception of School Ties, With Honors, The First Mummy, and possibly Bedazzled,
Dazzle.
Most of his career has been unexceptional, to say the least. That's why this film hit me like a ton of bricks.
Oh, it was brick-ridden.
It was very difficult to watch. I definitely could have done without the lingering shots of Fraser in the fat suit, naked.
I thought that was awesome.
Having battled with weight gain my entire life, this film was a harsh dose of reality. I hope to hell I never get to 600 pounds or end up housebound, but you never know. The Whale is not always pleasant to watch, but the payoff and performances make it an astounding film all around. Fraser has literally never been this good, and the supporting cast that surrounds him only makes him better.
Yes.
My favorite is his nurse friend, who tries to make him face reality, but fails miserably.
Just love Hong Chow.
Her sharp-tongued wit provides much-needed humor to an otherwise depressing situation. As uncomfortable as the subject matter made me, I had no choice but to make it, you said it, Jim, Moby Dick-sized Mondo.
Oh, baby.
All right.
You know what that means?
May even make my top 10 of 2022. You'll have to stay tuned for that.
Yeah, you will.
Mondo! Mondo! Mondo!
Apparently, Charlie Horse is giving it an outstanding Mondo as well. So, okay, am I the only one that believed that this is the best male character story they've seen in a long time?
Put me on the spot.
Yeah, I am.
Sure.
Right? Like
It was very well written. I'm surprised at that it's not getting more kudos than it is. People are all over Brendan Fraser's performance, but
yeah, it's not just him.
there are idiot critics out there that just do not get this movie at all, which I may talk about later.
Oh, I like that. I like it when you talk about things like that later.
Yeah.
You know, well, as we know, we usually don't care what the critics think because we don't believe that
We
they
don't,
have
but
any
every now
more
and
weight.
then it gets annoying when there are movies out there that they're saying are the greatest thing ever.
And they're not.
And they're just absolute dog crap.
Yeah.
And then something with substance, they just...
Yeah.
They decide to paint it with a brush that makes absolutely no sense because there's nothing. As I say, I'll get to that later.
Well, you know, I always say this to people because, you know, you and I see a lot the same on trips that are art house films. Like it's usually very close to what we believe in art house.
Yeah.
And you and Murray will see eye to eye maybe more on sports films, and Murray and I may see more to eye on science fiction or action films. But
Fair
it's
enough.
funny when you see a movie like this, which doesn't fit any of. I mean, it's kind of art house for sure, but it's very character driven. And for Murray and you and I all to give it the same rating, there's got to be so much substance
I was
to
dreading
this.
going to this.
Yeah.
Just looking at Brendan Fraser in that fat suit, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be just horribly depressing to watch. And yeah, I was sucked in from the very first minute. Like, it was so well done.
Well, and you have a tendency to bring your emotional baggage to a film.
I do.
A lot. You sometimes can't block out.
No,
your
'cause
emotions take over from your own personal
I like
life.
to identify with the character.
Yeah.
Which is what makes me get into the movie
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Or get out of it more.
Or get out of
which
it.
you've happened to
Well,
do sometimes
yeah.
too, right?
Depending on if it's
Yeah.
done poorly, then it'll take me out of a movie too.
Yeah, I imagine that he had to deal with bullying in it, but it wasn't the story. The story was all about his growth and change and the people around him and how he was trapped in his orbit that you couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
And just it's such a strong character film. Such a strong character
It is
film.
indeed.
Well, we go from that
To something completely different.
to something completely different with not necessarily a lot of character development. This film is dripping with opulence, and that is Babylon. This film is dripping with opulence and excess. where it is almost begging you to ask if it's too much. It starts with a few scenes that build to one of what I will call one of the most epic parties ever thrown in the vein of Caligula, as opposed to The Great Gatsby, which there is definitely some influences. Or perhaps, for those of you who've attended, one of my birthday parties of old. And Murray can laugh because he's attended them. This starts out where, as usual, from what I've seen of Margot Robbie, she starts the film playing her best Harley Quinn version. But then, perhaps the director told her, less Harley, more of anybody else, because she stopped annoying me about 30 minutes into this film.
She's good in this.
Yeah, after the first 30 minutes. It was great to see Brad Pitt playing more of a character his own actual age, and his arc in the story, in my opinion, I would say I enjoyed the most. Diego Calva as Manny does the best job I've ever seen him in also, as expected. The little we get, though, of Tobey Maguire still steals the show from anyone who gets pulled into his orbit.
He's awesome.
This movie, we'll talk more about him in a minute.
Oh, man.
Our director-writer does a pretty outstanding job giving us a tongue-in-cheek homage to the early film industry, and you can see his passion and respect for this craft. At times, this seems almost too busy, but the writing, cinematography, and music really push you to stay focused on what we are watching. For anyone who is a fan of the craft of movie making, this film is a feast for the senses. I love the journey this film takes us on from the end of the silent film era and into the world of talkies, but does it go deep enough in the transition? Or is it just too focused on, I would have said 4 lead characters, but to me there was only really 2. You all know what that... What? No, yeah, we'll see. You know how much I love character-driven films. I love the story it's telling, but because the story is unbalanced on the characters in that focus and is mainly on Brad and Margot's character and less on our 3 BIPOC characters, so for that, I have to give it some negative remarks. And for a film that's over 3 hours long, I think it could have been edited some of the way through and gave us deeper character development of all the characters. And on top of that, we didn't get enough Tobey Maguire.
That's
so
true.
For these reasons,
That's
as much
always
as I
true.
loved a lot about this film, I did not love it all, unfortunately. And soon after seeing it, I kind of forgot the scenes that I loved so much. It was kind of there were scenes that I really loved, but then after the movie, I was kind of like, okay, that was a good movie. I liked it. So just gets a high man. I couldn't give it a Mondo. I did not have the glow of Babylon after it.
Interesting. What does Murray think?
That surprised me a bit, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I
thought you would hate it.
You thought I would have hated it?
Yeah.
Really?
No, I would have thought I would have
Just
loved
because
it.
it's so Hollywood, I thought you would hate it.
I don't mind Hollywood. I actually, if they would have done more, well, we can talk about this in a bit.
Yep.
But let's hear what you say.
Yeah. This film was way too long.
Oh,
was.
no.
I
No,
will
no.
repeat my mantra, which you know by now. No film ever needs to be 3 hours long. Okay, got that out of the way.
I think Target was like 6 hours. That Russian movie, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it
No
was.
one's watching that either.
But did you watch it with a pause so you could pee?
I think I slept
there
through
you
about
go.
half of it.
There you go.
So it wasn't that good. All right.
Pretty good.
You
The
made my
parts I was
point for
awake.
me. I had to go twice in the 3 hours.
Nice. Okay, let's catch up to Murray's bladder here.
Sorry.
This was definitely my kind of film.
Yeah, I really thought, yeah.
Great score, talented cast,
Yep.
fantastic cinematography,
Yes.
and a story about Hollywood. This film should have been a slam dunk for me.
Oh.
Oh, this is taking a turn.
I should have known better when there is an elephant taking a dump all over somebody in the first 5 minutes.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
The following 25 minutes of the Bacchanal orgy
Yes.
was dizzying and disorienting.
Exactly.
Then the opening title came up,
Yes.
and we had ourselves a movie.
And then you had 3.5 hours more of movie.
I enjoyed every minute of the roller coaster ride that was making a silent film in the 20s.
Oh, so good.
In fact, every scene with the awesome Brad Pitt and the captivating Margot Robbie was mesmerizing. I wasn't that crazy about the other guy, though I'm sure he is okay. I didn't like his character development, especially near the end. Tobey Maguire's brief cameo was bizarre.
Did you call him Tubby Maguire?
Isn't Tobey Maguire?
Tobey Maguire.
I thought you called him Tubby.
I called him Tobey.
He called him Toby. What are you talking about? It was bizarre.
And everything
and awesome.
from when he showed up to the end was unnecessary, in my opinion.
What?
I think the movie should have ended with Brad Pitt's last scene. That's all I'm going to say. To summarize, this film made me rage, Mondo, and meh in the space of 3 hours and 9 minutes.
In between 2 urine breaks.
Everything Pitt, Robbie, and even a new guy was pretty Mondo. The middle hour of the film was slow, it dragged on, and it was a meh. The last 20 minutes made me rage. And that's also when I discovered why there was a medical warning to people with epilepsy. I still don't get what the hell was happening at the end there. Like that kaleidoscope of colors, and then they started showing like the Terminator and a bunch of other crap. I'm like, this was a movie about the 20s and 30s.
That's the one thing I could have done without.
I found it to be a complete waste. They should have ended it way before then. Much as I love Damien Chazelle's films, this was ultimately a meh.
Was it a high meh like your mind,
No.
Murray? All right.
No.
It's going down, Bryce.
There was too much that made me rage.
It was high meh, then meh,
then meh.
and then what do you have to say about
much rage.
Babylon?
What do? Just a quick poll. What do I have to say?
I don't know.
What do you think I'm going to rate it?
3 hours is never enough
Rage.
movie.
You
No.
say Rage?
Yes.
I say he's going to give it a Mondo.
You say Mondo?
Yeah, because his comment was that was the only thing I didn't like about it. So was that color saturation scene at the end enough to make Bryce go from
It wasn't a color
Mondo
saturation.
to
It was
meh?
that
It
combined with.
almost rooted for me.
Okay, well, we've got our votes in. If you go mad, you've split the vote. So
All right,
there we go.
What's that? Okay, so Babylon is bigger than what did I say?
Bigger than
I don't know. Target.
Tubby Maguire.
It's bigger than Tubby Maguire. No, Babylon is a bigger-than-life film with stunning visuals, a fantastic score by
Yes.
Justin Hurwitz. I can't...
Yeah.
Justin
best
Hurwitz,
scores.
this is one of the best scores in a
Agreed.
long time.
Yep.
And powerhouse performances from the main players that pulls the curtain back on Hollywood in the 1920s. It combines humor and dread and the ridiculous seamlessly. The cinematography is truly a sight to behold. Every camera movement is so fluid and takes you on a wild 3-hour ride. Yes, it was over 3 hours. It is cynical and optimistic in the same breath. There are scenes that I will never forget, one of them being the hilarious sequence of them filming with sound for the first time, which turns deadly.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
It was so frickin' funny. This scene is a triumph in itself. And it's one of many unforgettable moments. For me, I can't believe you left this and actually forgot some stuff, but there are so many unforgettable moments in this 3-hour epic. Brad Pitt's performance reminded me how good an actor he is. As Jack Conrad, he conveys a man who has the whole world at his disposal 1 minute and a man whose best days are behind him the next. Margot Robbie is also very good as Nellie, a young starlet that will do anything to be on the silver screen. It is hard to avoid being intoxicated by the charm of this character. This especially holds true for Manny Torres, played by Diego Calva, who is the most grounded character in the film, but his weakness for Nellie just may ruin him. And then we have Sidney Palmer, played by Jovan Adepo, a trumpet player who rises to the top, but when he gets there, decides his integrity is worth more than stardom. Director Damien Chazelle takes some Hollywood facts and weaves them with some Hollywood legends in a grand, over-the-top spectacle that is heartbreaking and hilarious and unforgettable. I could have done without the end sequence as Manny takes in a film and we get clips that take us through an abbreviated history of filmmaking.
Which makes no sense.
All the way up to Avatar.
but that is a minor irritation in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it was over 3 hours long. That was only like 10 minutes of it.
Oh, there was more.
I had a really good time at this film that ultimately tells a tragic tale. This roller coaster ride of a movie was an exhilarating Mondo.
Oh, there you go. I was right. There you go. Yeah, it wasn't so much I had problems. The biggest problem I had with this, ultimately, was I didn't find that all the characters were fully developed. I was really disappointed in their portrayal of the white savior, which I'm surprised you didn't pull that out. Like, there was way too much. I know it's the era of the 20s.
It's the 1920s.
No,
Jim.
I realize that, but he had an opportunity to show the trumpet player in more. Character,
and I will give you that. I wish that there was more.
There was more with
the
him.
Trumpet player, but the stuff with the trumpet player was strong, and the way that he walked out was strong.
That was an important scene,
and that was a very important scene.
But they just brushed over his character put that one. No, okay, this is
I
me.
wish there was more.
Yes, and I think the same thing with the Chinese artist.
Well, she was barely a character.
Right? No, yeah. but when you're looking at the scope of what they're doing here,
and once again,
they could have told more stories to give better diversity and strength to those characters. Instead, it's like they throw it in, and don't try and sell me on the fact that because it's a 20s film, it's supposed to be that way.
No. That's not what I'm selling you on. I'm selling you on the whole the white savior thing. It's I don't think applies here. But what I am saying is that yes, I honestly the Chinese lady, I don't know, I didn't really. She was just a bit character to me.
Right,
from
but
the
then
beginning.
why did they put her in? Like, if you're gonna put a character in,
there's no reason not to put her in.
She was an important character, but they
didn't really give her any credence. And if you're gonna put a character in, make it strong.
But
enough.
Everybody can't be a lead character.
No, I know, but
I will agree with you that the trumpet player needed a more. There needed to be more with him.
A perfectly good example is comparing her character to Tobey Maguire's character.
Okay.
Tobey Maguire's character's in it probably less than hers.
Yeah.
And you have more about Tobey Maguire in the scenes that he did the way it was
Tobey Maguire's character is a totally different character. You can't compare them.
I'm just saying, the writers have capabilities to do certain things. This took you on a journey of
we knew
two
her,
main
and
white
she
characters,
she was an important part of this film.
Yeah.
You couldn't have had this film without her.
I just think
you
they
wanted
did not,
to know more about her. I thought that I knew plenty about her.
They didn't really give much of anything.
And that the what she was there for was to drive the other characters, and she did it well. And we learned a lot about the other characters through her. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I know. You liked it. There were scenes in this that were fantastic. I 100% agree.
Oh, no, I absolutely.
There's scenes in this that you'll remember, but there's so much in this that I was like, okay, I already forgot about it because I stopped caring about. It was too long for me.
Oh,
and
no.
It was.
And I don't usually mind long movies.
It needed to be longer.
2.5 I could have done.
Well, if they would have made it longer, it might have been better. Maybe they would have taken out that color saturation scene, which made no sense because it was filmed in 1960s.
They didn't need it.
Well, no,
it was going to a movie in the 60s, whatever.
It was.
You don't need to have
to show RoboCop
20-minute sequence. Just
Terminator.
Have him watching the movie.
He
that
just
made no
wanted
sense.
He's showing where it all began and taking it through to where it is now. It's fine.
No,
but
it's not.
I didn't like it.
No,
and there's actually a lot of people that thought, oh, that's such a great end. But no,
it was terrible.
It wasn't.
Murray's ending would have been better. Actually,
it nearly ruined it.
No,
it
didn't need to end there. It did need to. All it needed to do was have him in this going to that. Like, he needed to go to that theater, but we didn't need all the hubbalaboo that went with it. Just show him reacting to the movie on the screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's all we needed.
Cheering up.
We didn't.
End.
Yeah, we
That's
didn't
it.
need the rest. And I will say absolutely to that. But yeah, it didn't need to end right at the Brad Pitt, whatever you're talking about.
Well, okay, then maybe they wrap up the other two characters in the next few scenes.
At any rate.
Then one is wild tangent.
You know what? At the end of the day, he made. I will give it to him on this. He made a bold choice
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. It wasn't great for me, but it didn't take away from the fact that the rest of the film was so good, so well acted, so well shot.
There was a lot of good.
There
in
was
this.
so much good.
Hey, I loved a lot of it.
I know you did.
I did not love all of it.
And I loved it all except for one little bit.
That's
still
it.
made it Mondo.
Just that one little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, just so we know, just that one little bit.
Just that one
No,
little
I
bit. The
thought
rest was fantastic.
I would love it more, and I really thought it'd be like one of my
Yeah.
favorites of the whole year, and it just
I thought if Tobey Maguire was in it, I was going to love it.
Yeah, parts of it.
And if it was-
and I didn't like that part at all.
I wish they would have made a film just about the seedy underbelly of the 1920s and had Tobey
You
Maguire.
didn't like the Tobey Maguire part
in
at
the
all?
sewers with the alligators.
Oh, it's
and all the
fantastic.
weird stuff. No,
the rat
It
eating.
went off on a tangent.
That was the
Like,
best part of the movie for me.
Oh,
it really
it was
wasn't.
so good.
It really wasn't.
Oh, man.
Whatever, to each their own.
I could just watch Tobey Maguire do anything, though.
Yeah.
As soon as he showed up, because I was waiting, like the whole time, like, where's Toby?
Where's
Why
Toby?
is Toby not showing
Where's
up yet?
Toby?
And then there
Yeah,
he was.
but yet-
and I was like, okay, I've waited a long time now for this. This better pay
This
off.
better pay off.
And man, did it ever pay off.
But yet, Jean Smart, who, you know,
She's actually
she's
really
great,
good. Yeah.
but she's like on the movie poster. She's like fourth billing below the top three.
Yeah, whatever.
And she's just like a side character who
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
observes things happening.
That's
but,
what it is.
But she
That's-
got like top billing.
Hey, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Jean Smart sells tickets, so you put her front and center.
Sure she does.
I thought it was Tobey Maguire that sells tickets. But actually, you know, one of the
Not
interesting
like
things.
Jean Smart.
Do you know?
Wasn't she on Designing Women?
I think
She
so.
was.
I think she was. So you know what's interesting about this? This is one of those ones that the trailer for this
Yes.
sold you a bunch of stuff that never happened.
How cool
There's
was
so
that?
Many, that was cool because I'm expecting the scenes from the trailer,
Yeah.
and they never showed up. And I'm like,
it
wait a
was
minute, the way
total
they edited it.
misdirection in
Yeah.
the trailer,
Yeah,
which
they
was
got to trim
awesome.
an
Best
hour off,
trailer
make it
ever.
under 3
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, best trailer.
I wish
ever.
more trailers would do
It was
that.
probably a
total
4-hour movie
misdirection.
until
Oh.
they trimmed it.
Yeah, totally.
All
So
right.
kudos to that for trailer.
Yeah, it's a interesting movie. Everybody should watch, whether you're going to
Yeah,
hate it or love
it's a
it.
good it's a good film study.
Oh
film,
yeah, totally.
for sure.
And I love the battle scenes, and you know all the cameras got wrecked, and he had to run and get a new one. That was awesome.
Ambulance driving.
All
And they were
that
trying to
stuff. Every time they were showing
trying to
them
shoot it before the
filming
sun went down.
something,
Yeah, that was the best.
it was genius.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time they were
I kind of
showing
just
them
wish it was
filming.
that. But
It was
anyway.
so good.
I wish it was more of that.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway. All right. What are we doing now?
Well, now the moment that
Our annual.
the huge number of our listeners have been waiting for the entire year.
It's kind of a special edition of the list.
It is.
guess.
It's a very
Yes, it
special
is.
edition of the list. This is our Mondo 10 and Rage 5 for 2022. So, for those of you who've been wondering, because they've been asking us a lot on social media, oh, Film Rage, what's your list for this year? And we're like, hold on, people. You're going to get it. And here it is.
Nice.
We're starting off with our Rage 5 because we always like to go a little dirty because we haven't been so dirty yet. We've been giving out Mondos like candy and
this week.
and Happy Mez, and we haven't done any raging. So you know what? It's time
Happy
to
Mez.
break it up with some rage. And Murr's going to start us off.
Because nobody rages more than I do.
Exactly. He's. You know what?
I am just full of rage.
Someone actually mentioned to me on social media the other day.
Why am I so
Murray.
angry?
No. They said, you know what? Murray's been giving out a lot of rage lately, and I said, yes, we finally have rubbed off on it.
That's why I decided I don't want to play the middle anymore.
That's
Either
right.
I love it or I hate it.
That's
so
right. This is good.
You
We
get more rages from me.
it's been a long time for us to make you
All right.
push you to go away from meh.
So we'll start, I guess, with our Rage 5. And honorable mention, there are way too many crappy films to mention. You can basically put every horror movie that came out in the last year on the list for me. I do not like horror films.
Uh-oh.
3 that stood out to me as pure garbage.
Now, are you putting them in an order or no?
No.
Okay.
Not honorable mentions, no.
Okay.
I'll be putting them in order.
Yeah, you always do.
All-
I did too,
all
actually,
20
this
of them.
year. Okay.
Honorable mention to The Invitation.
Okay, so the invitation is
more
your...
of a dishonorable.
Yeah,
mention.
Miss Dishonorable.
Yeah. Story of Dracula, but done really badly.
It was pretty bad.
It's really bad.
And you know how much I loved my vampires.
You do. You love them more than anything.
Beast. CGI heavy, beyond ridiculous story starring one of my favorites,
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
I didn't see it.
The mesmerizing,
Such a shame.
count yourself lucky.
Uncharted.
Oh man,
Good old Spider-Man, Tom Holland.
Wait, is this still
That
in your?
movie
Is this
is
your
so
honorable mentions?
stinky.
Okay, good.
He should stick to playing teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like it.
that was awful.
He is
Yeah.
way too young to be playing someone that experienced. But anyway. Okay.
On to the
my
list.
Rage 5.
Yes.
Number 5, probably on all of our lists. Avatar, Way of Water.
It is on my list.
Hated the first one. The new one had the exact same story. 3 hours of CGI people. Yawn.
Yep.
Nice.
Number 4, which I looked back and actually was one of my most anticipated movies of last year.
Yes.
The Batman.
The Batman.
Who knew I would actually dislike somebody more than the Batfleck?
Yeah.
What?
I like Robert Pattinson, but this movie was just stupid.
It was terrible. Yeah, I agree, Mir.
Number 3.
liked it.
I love this. You know what? The thing I love about our Mondo 10 Rage 5 is reminiscing on what we all agreed on stuff, so we can fight again. I love it.
Number 3,
Yep.
Morbius.
Oh, so another
Again,
one.
I usually like superhero films.
It was good.
And I love vampires. And this was an insult to both. And all the undead creatures of the night.
Yeah.
Number 2, another superhero film. I know you're surprised.
What, Murray?
What is going on?
Black Adam.
Oh God.
Black Adam was bad.
Rounding out the trifecta of the superhero crap.
Ugh.
Though calling Dwayne Johnson's character any kind of a hero is a travesty. He's a villain, pure and simple. As a matter of fact, he's like Shazam's He's Shazam's like
Shazam.
villain. He should have been in the new Shazam movie, and not
Maybe
given
he
his
will
own.
be. We have to find out.
He's a villain, pure and simple, and not the fun kind like Venom.
Right.
Much as I love Pierce Brosnan, and I do, and Sarah
does.
Shahi, and I do,
He does.
this was a complete piece of crap until the 30-second cameo at the end. And considering how
It's gonna go
badly
nowhere.
they're screwing up the DCU, thank you, James Gunn.
Wow. We don't
I
know
am
that
now,
yet.
No, he basically get rid of everybody.
I know. Maybe that's not going to screw
Yeah.
it up. Maybe it's going to make
Maybe
it
it's gonna
awesome.
make it
I am
better.
now bitter about the whole thing.
I love it.
I'm looking
biggest
forward
piece
to
of crap for me, which
the
you guys
Gunniverse.
Okay, so
love,
this is actually your number one
number
worst
one.
film. Okay.
Okay.
is Jackass Forever.
Okay.
I know you guys liked it.
Yes, we
Yeah, we
did.
did.
was
We loved it,
pure
actually.
torture for me.
It was Mondo.
I remember you talking about
I
that.
hate bullies, people getting pranked, or getting picked on in general. But the only part I enjoyed was Johnny Knoxville getting gored by a bull.
Nice. That was good.
I absolutely loathed that movie.
All right. Well, that's a pretty good list, Mer.
So yeah, there's my rage. I had a lot more, but that's
I
my
agreed
five.
with a lot of it.
There was a lot that I agreed with too, which is good because I don't think that's going to happen with all of our lists. Just
Probably not.
Maybe not.
Just saying.
I'm actually surprised at what I came up with my number one movie of last year. It kind of took me by surprise, but that's not what we're doing right now.
No, we're doing
No,
rages.
we're raging. That's
So
what
it's
we did.
funny. It's not getting into my honorable mentions, and I'm not going to say any movie names. But in the number of Liam Neeson movies we watched last year,
I don't even
none of them made my top rage for that. So isn't that interesting?
They're going to make my dishonorable mentions. Spoiler alert.
Nice.
Although I don't know which one was which.
Yeah.
I didn't like enough to be a Mondo, but I don't rage about any of these.
Yeah, I rage
they
about
were,
all of them.
They were terrible.
None of them made my top. So okay, so here's my rage 5. Well, my honorable mentions first in order.
Yes.
And that was tough for me because there was a lot of stuff, the stuff that didn't make it to number 3 honorable mention.
Yes.
We're all pretty equal of rage.
It's
and then
tough.
it's kind of I kind of shook the filter thing, and they sifted out.
My dishonorable mentions and my honorable mentions are I didn't rank, but
Yeah.
everything else I did.
Well,
because they almost made it.
So the one that is say number 3 dishonorable mentions for me
Yes.
was the movie Fall.
It was pretty bad.
Annoying, stupid people climb a pole where nothing happens, and you wish they would fall the minute they
okay.
climb up there.
Yeah, I'm remembering this now. I didn't see it. But yeah, I
Had
remember.
one redeeming quality though: the sets were real.
There you go.
Scream 2022. My
I knew
comment
that
here
was
is
gonna come
why.
so
Horror film.
Yep.
Firestarter 2022.
We get another Scream
Why?
this
Horror
year.
film.
Yeah,
Rage.
I saw that.
Looking forward to
Number
it.
5 joins with Murray. Uncharted. Where can I start on this? A video game that you already know how it ends before it starts, and nothing is interesting, surprising, or original.
Okay.
Number 4, Clerks 3.
Ooh.
Bad writing, acting, and not one thing that was funny or a series that got progressively worse as the series comes to this terrible offering from once comedic and brilliant writer Kevin Smith.
Yes.
Number 3, The Scary of 61st. Movies this bad should never be made. It's like a home movie made that should have stayed in the trash bin inside their home.
It was awful.
It was really bad. Number 2 was a streaming. And I regret that we saw it. It's Mother Android with Chloe Grace Moretz at her
really?
absolutely
was
most
awful,
annoying.
wasn't that 2021?
It was terribly
Wow.
awful. This was painful to watch 30 seconds into the movie and got worse as it progressed.
Huh.
And the number 1 biggest rage for me
Can
last
I
year.
guess? I don't have to guess. I know what it is.
I don't think you know what it is.
I think I know what it is.
What is it?
It's Maverick.
It is Top Gun Maverick. One of the most disappointing films to ever be made. A film completely made to make money off nostalgia, where there is not one moment of originality and never needed to be made. The dialogue written for characters who were all unlikable and basically a retelling of its original, where it had not been bad enough to watch the original, has Force-like powers to hit the target on the Death Star.
Yes.
Every single thing about this movie I did not like, except that they used real planes.
Who cares?
That was cool. I didn't think this movie needed to be made. And I'm sorry, Mur, because I know it's going to make your top 10.
It
but
might.
for me, this is like, if you look, I have a lot of 2s and 3s, and if a movie has a sequel, it better be better than the original. Otherwise, don't even make it.
Sequels are never better than the original.
I know, that's why they should not make them.
Of four of my
How many Halloweens do you guys
Rage
drag
5,
me to go see?
4 of my Rage 5 are sequels.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually they're better than the original.
No, they've all sucked. I've hated them all.
Nice.
I hated the first Halloween. I hated the last one.
There you go.
There you go.
Maybe you'd like the second or third one, though, Murray.
Never. Anyway.
Nice.
That's your 5.
That's my 5.
Now it's my turn.
Yep.
Am I reaching for the mute button?
No, well, maybe we'll find out here because he's got
don't
3
think
and 5. Let's have it. No ties.
Yeah, but the Liam Neeson movies count as
No,
one,
that
right?
counts as 1. You don't have to list them. You just say all Liam Neeson movies.
I'm listening to them. Anyways, my dishonorable mentions. It's Rage 5 time. Dishonorable mentions are Blacklight and Memory, both starring Liam Neeson, who needs to stop making this crap. And my other honorable mention is Uncharted, that shows us how bad Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland can be. Man, this was unwatchable.
Nice.
And that's it for my dishonorable mentions.
That was a good tie, by the way.
Yeah, it's just...
I loved it. See how you were so respectful.
I'm always respectful.
I don't remember Black Phone.
All right, so Rage 5 tied for number 5. I'm just kidding. Number 5, Clerks 3.
Oh, look at that. They both...
Perhaps the most disappointed I have ever been at the movies. I was really looking forward to it. I love the characters. This was Kevin Smith's worst movie. Number 4, Ambulance.
Oh, God, yeah.
Michael Bay attempts to make me puke with his non-stop camera movements. It was unwatchable. I've never seen a movie where they're just having like a conversation. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing okay. While the movie's moving in circular motions.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
They're just talking.
Yeah.
There's no need for
It
this.
was terrible.
Bay loves his Steadicam.
He likes to spin around.
Ugh.
Right round, baby. Right round.
So I'll number 3, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. The story makes no sense, period. Anybody can argue with me all they want about but the story makes no sense. There's no way that these two should be pitted against each other. I'm not going to go on a tirade about it. I've done it many times on the podcast already. The story makes no sense.
Yep.
I don't know why they made this.
Yep. Agree.
Number 2, Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
It's a blatant ripoff of Star Wars. Use the Force, Maverick. And number 1, to nobody's surprise, I'm sure, Avatar, The Way of Water. This film has some of the worst dialogue ever and a story to match. That's it.
Don't forget the CGI fire.
And the CGI fire was just...
But the CGI water was great.
The CGI is so good. It's so good. Yeah, it was wonderful, except for the fire looked terrible. And apparently, it looks like he's doing this earth, fire, water crap with this movie. So I'm guessing that he's going to have a fire movie coming out soon for Avatar. He better improve on it before that gets released.
The same bad guy from the first two movies, because apparently you just can't kill him.
I think he wants to do a
He's like Jason.
Apparently.
He wants to do a wind movie, maybe.
All right.
He'll come back as one of those whale things.
All right, so from the worst to the best. Apparently, I'm going to still talk. I can't believe that. I don't know why I'm ending and then I'm starting the next one.
Because people are already used to your voice.
All right, well, at least this way they can listen continuously for a while. They don't have to listen to the start of the last one.
That's right. They can fast forward through Murray and I.
Yeah. All right, so Mondo 10 of 2022, the absolute cream of the crop. But before we get there, we have some honorable mentions.
Yes.
Men. Alex Garland has started his career as a director with his third straight Mondo. Man, this guy makes good movies.
He does.
Crimes of the Future. Cronenberg is still the master of body horror. Montana Story. One of the most authentic feeling brother-sister dynamics ever caught on film.
That almost made mine, too.
Country Gold.
Oh, God.
Mickey Reese's genius is undeniable as he continues to astonish with this masterpiece.
Okay.
And my last honorable mention is The Outfit.
Oh, wow.
Mark Rylance at his unassuming best.
He was great in that.
All right. So, now on to the Mondo 10.
Yep.
Number 10. Bones and All.
Oh, right.
Who doesn't like a cannibal love story?
That's my favorite genre.
Especially when you got Mark Rylance and Michael Stuhlbarg in it.
Wait, is your top 10 all just going to have Mark Rylance in it? I wish.
Yeah, well,
Possible.
Well, you know what? The Phantom of the Open didn't make it.
Damn!
But he was so good in that too.
But Mark Rylance would have made it.
So good.
He's currently mesmerizing.
He's so good. All right, so number 9, A Life on the Farm. Charles Carson has something to show you. Number 8, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This is the dark version of this tale that I didn't know I wanted, but man, am I glad he made it. It is very, very good. Check it out.
Interesting that one made it.
I really, really love that movie.
Yeah, I did too, but yeah, it's cool.
Number 7, Nope.
Jordan Peele. Don't you mean yup?
Nope. Yeah. Jordan Peele continues his streak of thought-provoking horror. I'm looking so forward to everything he makes.
I rewatched it the other day. It got better.
I'm sure
just
it did.
FYI.
It is so good. And Keke Palmer. She's awesome.
I want to see her now and everything.
I know, right? Number 6, Broker.
Oh,
yeah.
What do you know?
This film shows us that family doesn't have to be blood. Number 5, Cow.
Oh!
Heartbreaking.
Speaking of movies that you never want to watch again.
Yes, heartbreaking doc that everybody should see once.
Just once.
I like my meat, thank you very much.
Yeah, this would traumatize you, Murray.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
It is something.
You know what? Here's the thing.
See once.
Both you and I love to be traumatized. It's just,
I don't.
I know.
Number 4, Everything, Everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
All at Once. The imagination of the Daniels combined with the brilliance of Michelle Yeoh. So good.
The mesmerizing Michelle Yeoh.
She's so good.
She's so good.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Number 3.
Seems like there should be a drum roll.
And by the way, my top 3 has really separated from. Once again, it seems like the top 3 they're always kind of
they kind of stand above.
But so and once again this year is the same. I mean, I absolutely adored every movie 10 through 4, but these top 3 are unbelievably good. Number 3, The Banshees of Inisherin. Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, and Martin McDonagh reunite in this supremely entertaining tale of a relationship that has run its course. Love this movie.
And you know the funniest thing about it? I still haven't seen that, and I still haven't had a chance to see Bones and All, which I'll be watching this weekend.
They both made my top 10.
I know. So now I have to see them. I've been I've been too many things I've been doing.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Number 2. Are you all ready for this?
I'm ready. R. And then another R?
Yes.
The one that I walked out on? Yeah.
Oh my God. RRR. It just goes to show you that
even Bryce
can enjoy an action movie because this was amazing. Yeah. This is literally the most fun I had at the cinema last year. I wish that it could just play in the cinema like all the time, because every now, once or twice a month, if it was playing all the time, well, maybe not once or twice a month, but I would say once or twice every few months, I would probably go see it again.
Oh, yeah. And it's 3.5 hours.
And it is 3.5 hours of
pure
joy, absolute joy. I don't know when I've ever had such a good time at the movies. Like, it was just, I just had a smile as wide as can be. It was so amazing.
It was
so much fun.
I love this film.
Just so much fun.
I agree. It's good.
And number 1.
I'm curious. Murray, do you have any guesses on what his number 1 is?
No, because he's seen about 10 times more movies than I have.
Number 1 is Nitram.
Oh, man!
I seriously never heard of it.
Caleb Landry.
Okay, that one.
Yes,
Caleb, we saw it together.
Martin backwards.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Caleb Landry Jones in one of the most just absolute bone-chilling
interesting
performances you will ever witness. It is the most disturbing film I saw in 2022, and it was also the best film of 2022. I will never forget this movie. It will stay with me forever, and I will never forget Jones's performance, which will also stay with me forever.
Yeah, he was so brilliant in this. And it's funny because as you're going through these, I had a tough time not putting some of these in my list, and Nitram was one that I fought with for a while.
Yeah. And it's my number 1, but just like The Whale, I never want to see it again.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing movie, and Caleb Landry Jones, I was absolutely blown away by that performance.
Oh, yeah.
He was unbelievable. Yep. So that is my top 10.
You saw that one, Murray? You saw that with us, right? Yeah.
And I also agree. It creeped me out.
Oh, it's disturbing.
Caleb Landry Jones is a kind of a creepy guy, as I believe I mentioned a few times.
Yes, you have. You've
everything I've ever seen him in, he's been creepy.
Yep.
Well, I must not have read the rules properly because I only had 3 runner-ups, but I added another one.
Good. I like that.
And surprise, all of my Mondos, you haven't mentioned a single one of them.
That's not surprising.
It's not surprising.
Okay, honorable mentions.
Yes.
Violent Night.
Okay.
Which is my new favorite Christmas film.
Nice.
Death on the Nile.
Oh,
Unlike Murder on the Orient Express, I had no idea who the actual killer was.
So you didn't hate this movie.
This was entertaining.
Don't give him flack.
Exactly. I loved it.
I give anybody I want flack.
Take that flack and stick it right in your bum cheeks.
And here comes the other flack from the other one of our cast.
What?
Yes. Elvis. Yes, I loved it.
I'm like, okay.
Not enough to be in my Mondo 10, but I still loved it.
Jim is biting his tongue hard right now.
Late admission, which I struggled to give a Mondo to, was Thor: Love and Thunder.
Because of the GNR soundtrack?
That was a big reason, but yeah.
Wait, didn't you give that a rage?
I know I gave it a Mondo, but it was a tough Mondo.
A tough Mondo.
I don't think you did. Did you
double
double check?
Did. You check your website.
Okay.
You entered it. It was a Mondo.
Okay.
I didn't originally have it at all, but it's like, I'm going to throw it on there because I still love Thor. It's just, it was not a good story.
There you go.
All right.
You heard it here first, people.
And I love Guns N'
My
Roses.
top 10. Number 10.
All right.
I like movies.
Oh, there
It was
you go.
my favorite of this year's SIF.
Yeah, you like that
It
one
was
a
a
lot.
Canadian-produced thing about a kid who works at a video store, which I can identify with. Falls in love with, his manager
Yep.
type person. Wants to go to film school. I can relate. I
There
loved
you
it. I
go.
thought it was funny.
Nice.
Number 9.
But it didn't make any of our lists.
No,
did it, Bryce?
it didn't.
Right? None of our
Number
lists.
9, The Adam Project.
Adam.
You just know a Ryan Reynolds film would make my top 10.
I thought all of his movies this year would have
Make
made
that
your
made
top.
this year. It's busy buying football teams and having babies.
That's right.
Wasn't he in that something guy movie?
Free Guy. That was
That
like
was
a year
last
ago.
year.
It was a year ago.
Oh, was it?
That was last year, dummy. He's even wearing his shirt.
Oh,
If you
I
didn't
didn't know.
notice.
No, I didn't.
Dumb.
Number 8, which you guys didn't mention at all.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
The Menu.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. It was a good
Anya
movie.
Taylor-Joy was a delight.
I gotta say, I'm a little surprised this made your top 10, but I'm
And-
happy to see it did.
Ralph Rafe Fiennes was wickedly awesome.
He was.
Yes, he
wickedly
was.
awesome.
Number 7,
yep.
The Duke.
Okay.
Jim Broadbent and Dame Helen Mirren.
That
Just
Jim Broadbent
gold.
was brilliant.
Plus,
He was.
I love British films.
You do.
And number 6, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, or whatever it's called.
In the
Probably-
Multiverse of Madness?
Sure. Probably the only superhero film I actually liked last year. Well, besides Thor, I guess. Which is saying something because I usually love them. And there was a Thor movie that came out. But yeah, Doctor Strange was my favorite of the whole year.
Good to hear. Well, it's because of Sam
Number
Raimi.
5. Here it comes. Top Gun Maverick. That's right. I said it.
You did.
I love Tom Cruise. I love Top Gun. And the flight sequences were awesome. So there.
Just like Star Wars.
Yep.
You'll like the last two.
Okay, good.
Number
Use
4.
use the force, Maverick.
Use the Force, Murray.
Number 4, The Whale.
All right.
How could I not put this film on?
I would agree.
Deeply moving performance by the Encino Man.
That's true.
Number 3, which you didn't know, list, Empire of Light.
I haven't listed mine yet, so who knows what's on
Olivia
mine.
Colman,
you don't know
Olivia
him.
You don't
Colman
know me.
was amazing, and I'm not one of her biggest fans.
Empire of Light
Plus,
was really
a
good.
film about a movie theater. My second home.
Nice.
Yes.
Number 2, Bullet Train.
Ooh, baby.
Best action movie of last year.
It was a lot of fun.
Bit of everything. And
It was-
Brad Pitt being Brad Pitt.
It was almost as good as RRR.
Yeah. Well, I walked out of that one, so no comment.
No, it
Because you
wasn't.
had to pee, because it was like
No,
3.5
because
hours.
there was about 4 5-year-olds running around the theater, and I realized it was a 3-hour movie and it was a Bollywood movie. I walked out.
Going in when you go into that movie that families are going to it. It's where
It's a party.
It's
yeah,
a
but
party.
you don't realize that in my former life in broadcasting, I had to watch Bollywood movies on a weekly
He's
basis.
not a big fan of
So
Bollywood.
I became angry
Immune
about
to them. Immune
This
to
wasn't
Yeah.
your typical
And
Bollywood.
number 1,
Number 1.
surprise, surprise,
Yes.
Top Gun Maverick 3.
The Northman.
Oh, yeah.
How could I not put this awesome Viking
Oh,
film
yeah.
at the top?
I'm surprised you didn't give that other Norwegian film. What was that
What about the
one?
goat or the sheep or the ram?
No, the one that with
Who
the
played it?
Sif. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that one was good too, but I don't think I gave it to Mondo.
Yeah,
I think you did.
Yeah, you did. What the heck
Not
was it
according to our
now?
thing
I can't
again.
remember it.
Anyway, but
It was
I remember the name. It was really good.
This movie starred the second best Skarsgård in the film industry. Now, if his dad, Stellan, had played his father instead of Ethan Hawke, it would have been even better.
And if his cousin or brother,
Plus,
the best Skarsgård was
My
in it.
new favorite crush, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah,
was
she's always
awesome.
She's
So
always
there
amazing.
you have it.
She was in a lot of movies last year.
Do you
too.
know that in your top 10, I only have 3 rages, so that's pretty
There you go.
good.
Out of
That's
10,
pretty
That's
good.
pretty good. And one of them is Top Gun Maverick.
I'm trying to think.
One of them
Okay,
is Top
one-
Gun Maverick.
What's the other two?
The Adam Project, and I like movies.
That's it. The Adam Project, and I like movies.
Well, if it helps, those are at the bottom of my list.
They were.
All right.
You had one at 5. So
Yeah, well, I had to.
10, 9, 5.
I didn't give it
I
one,
gave
did I?
rages.
All right. Well, now you're going to get to hear the actual list for the entire year. So
Nobody's listening at this point. They've
Nobody's
already heard my list.
nobody's listening.
They
They've already
tuned
heard
out when I
Murray's.
started talking.
They now that they've heard Murray's Top Gun
Whatever.
Maverick made the top 5, then
Yeah,
that's
that-
all that really matters.
That's, yeah.
Because most of our listeners love Top Gun Maverick.
Most of the world does. It's like YouTube.
Exactly, because it's so bad.
It's awful.
Okay, so my number 5 for last year was Piggy.
Piggy. I like
Revenge
Piggy.
is a dish best served with Piggy.
Yeah, that was great. Excellent.
Number 4, You Won't Be Alone. Visually amazing, slow burn horror film.
That was on my short
where
list.
your adopted witch mom is much better than your real one.
So good.
Number 3, Empire of Light. Olivia Colman does what she does best, and Sam Mendes does what he now does best, write and direct.
Nice.
Number 2,
Yes.
White Noise.
Yes.
Noah Baumbach and Adam Driver make me laugh at Academia, the 70s, and Adam Driver's brilliance and lack thereof.
Man, that was fun.
It was fun. Number 1 honorable mention is Plan 75. Japanese brilliance
So
of despair and hope.
Oh, it's good.
Number 10. Now, you guys are going to be surprised by... I think you're going to be exceptionally surprised, although I think you're going to probably nail my number 1, because that's all I've been talking about all year, well, since I've seen it. So number 10 is a film that you didn't get to see. It is The Color of Ink. Canadian Gold, a doc
saw
that
part of
has you falling in love with ink and the creative people who make it and use it, with history, storytelling interwoven into one man's passion. I freaking love this film. It's going to play on NFB. I highly suggest anybody watch this film. It's an amazing doc.
Cool.
Number 9, Flux Gourmet. The fucked up food lives in the world under Cronenberg influences umbrella, using body horror, food, music,
Just amazing.
and creativity to advance our minds and senses.
Love that movie.
Followed closely by Crimes of the Future. Cronenberg is back and takes us places that transcend body horror into art and is stretching our minds along the way.
Nice.
Number 7, which I'm surprised didn't make Bryce's number 1, actually, is Piaf. Horseplay is the slowest, most magical, transformative film,
Yep.
literally,
It was good.
of all the films I saw last year.
It was crazy
It was probably
good.
one of the most transformative,
Yeah, it was.
because she transferred into a horse.
It was an amazing movie.
Number 6 also made Bryce's list, Broker.
Broker.
Hirokazu Kurita. This is a film every family should see, be it birth family or one that you create. Number 5,
Five.
Cow.
There you go.
The saddest film ever made that was one of the most powerful vegan affirming displays of cinema.
Nice.
Number 4, Moon Age Daydream.
Yep.
A new way to see a doc about the greatest musician who's ever lived.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I like that one.
Number 3, another doc. So I have how many docs in my top 10 this year?
Quite a few.
One? There's a lot. So here's another one. Can you guess which one this one is, Bryce?
A Life on the Farm.
No, it is not.
Oh.
It didn't make my top 10.
It didn't?
Sadly.
Wow.
No. Up until I saw these other films, it would have made it. Number 3
Is this
was
your highest rated doc?
this one. This one I'm going to read out right now is
Is. Okay. Go ahead.
Children of the Mist.
Oh, yeah.
The doc that made me say,
Holy crap.
I can't believe this is happening
Yeah.
all the way through this entire movie. From moment 1 to the end of this movie, I did nothing but turn to Bryce and said, can you believe this is actually happening?
Yeah.
This movie was the epitome of observational docs.
Yep.
And I don't like observational docs as
This was so
as
good.
a actual form of documentary filmmaking. But funny enough, Cow also observational
yeah.
doc, and Moon Age Daydream was nothing like
No,
observational
Moon Age
doc.
Daydream was.
And The Color of Ink is not. It's
Yeah.
a story told through
Yeah.
The Color of Ink. So I have 2 observational
Observational
docs,
docs.
which are not my favorite doc genre.
Yes.
So kudos to the makers of
Absolutely.
Children of the Mist.
It was amazing.
My number 2, also on Murray's top 10, is
Yes.
The Whale. Brendan Fraser's opus.
Yep.
Number 1. Care to guess?
You say you've been talking? Why don't I know?
You should.
I
You probably don't listen
should.
to anything I say, so that
Yeah,
could be
it's
the
probably
reason.
got something to do with it.
It's the most character-driven film of this last year.
The lady on the ledge or
It's
lady on
Woman on the Roof.
That's it.
You like that one?
Dorota
Yeah, well, I did too. She
Pamakalas.
was amazing.
Now, if The Whale is Brendan Fraser's opus,
Yep.
Dorota Pamakalas' opus is Woman on the Roof. She
Woman on the Roof.
is in this film. As if I'm going to pick in my top 10, they're going to be character-driven films. Woman on the Roof is by far
It's good.
next to Elle.
Yeah.
It's the best female lead character study
It's amazing.
I've ever seen.
Yep.
I loved it.
I literally can't argue with anything on your list.
That's unfortunate,
I know.
right?
I'm actually kind of
And
bummed
Murray
by
actually
that.
liked some of mine.
Some of them I don't like documentaries. So
We even
That's
got
true.
we even
I
got
didn't see
one in
most
the
of those.
exact same position. It's
Which was
crazy.
that?
Cow at 5.
Nice.
Yeah, we both landed on the same position.
We both landed on Cow.
I was sitting here ready to write, well, Mondo like I did with Murray here, but I got Mondo.
All 15 of mine were Mondo.
You guys usually agree on
it's
stuff.
So this was a year like I've been waiting for a long time. I don't think if you go back and look at how many Mondos we had this year,
I think it was probably more.
there was
yeah.
more, way more than last year, way more than the year before.
Yeah.
This was an amazing year. When I was sitting there, I've got a list that I was working off of. I'm like, I can't believe how many
Yeah, I know.
amazing films I
Yeah.
had this year.
Well, I had to take some of yours off of my
I
list.
know,
that I was
and
like,
vice versa. I mean, it's like you're saying stuff, and I'm like, how is that not on my list? And then I'm looking, I like my
I'm pretty
list.
happy with my list.
But
Yeah.
it's just crazy that, like Woman on the Roof. How is that not on my list? And it's not.
How is it not on everybody's list?
How is Nitram not on your list? But it's not. It's just.
And
just,
it's a really good character-driven
Yeah.
film too. So
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it is.
It was a meh for me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's not that. Again, we've talked about this. Heavy dramas are not your genre.
Not your thing.
Some
right?
are.
So
I love The Whale.
yeah, it's true. But you
Depends
could
on the
identify
story.
with the character
Well, it
better.
depends on
You
the
couldn't.
story.
You couldn't necessarily identify with Nitram
I
better.
didn't mind Nitram. Just I didn't like it enough to give to Mondo. So
Right. But why is that?
And
It went
I liked
out
it
of-
enough to make it the best movie of the year.
It just went out of my conscience because if I didn't love it that much,
Yeah.
I tend to forget about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, it's I've thought a lot about that film too. So did you think this was a good year for film, Mur? For 2022?
Well, I want to say yes, but the kind of movies I usually love were all crap.
We're kind of disappointing to
Like
you.
Yeah.
when I was doing this
they
list, I
usually are.
brought up my most looking forward to movies of 2022, and out of like the 6 or 7 I had, 3 of them I gave rages to. So
Yep.
yeah, stuff I was looking forward to didn't pan out.
And the reason this was the best year in cinema for I don't know,
Ages.
decades maybe, is because I was surprised over and over again at how good the stuff that was coming out was. It was almost as if the pandemic kind of quieted things for a while, and then people got their creative juices going because there weren't just straightforward stories. There was some wacky stuff. There was so many different types of filmmaking. It was an amazing year for cinema, and I just wish that more people watched the movies that
Well,
mattered to
this
me.
is-
To
This
us.
is the
to
problem.
us in cinema
Is-
instead of lining up to watch Top Gun Maverick,
Those of us who don't
and
have-
Avatar and all this garbage.
Yeah, those of us who don't have 5 or 6 streaming services count on movie theaters to see stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the movies you listed as your Mondos, like Weird Al, never came to a theater. I would have loved to have seen that. That Banshees one, if it hit a theater, I didn't know, but it was the
It
weekend
was-
you guys
it was-
were
it
off.
was
I think
So-
it's still in now.
I think
we
it's still there,
We should
yeah.
go
Maybe
see
it
it
came
this
back,
weekend, Mur.
But no, I really wanted to see that one. But
Yeah.
it was a week that you were sick, so we didn't go see it. So
yeah, but it really
Black
was.
Panther was it
I've never given out so many Mondos in my life in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
But and you know what? Maybe to Murray's point specifically about the genres that he looks forward to, like action films and superhero films.
There was one good
even
action
comedies.
film.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of good comedies, and there wasn't. Well, I don't think
there
there's
never
ever good
really
comedies,
is. Yeah.
But as far as I think we've hit a wall with superhero films, and it's just
keep
now
making them now.
it's just regurgitating. We've talked about this for a long time.
I've already given up on Marvel.
Yeah,
and I had hope for DC until recent events, and I'm like,
I had hope for DC until Black Adam, and now I'm not sure that I don't have hope. I'm interested to see what Gunn does, because maybe he will.
It's not going to be good.
How do you know?
I just know.
I'm looking at Gunn and the stuff he's made. I've really
usually
enjoyed.
we liked, yeah.
I've enjoyed the Peacemaker series. I've enjoyed Deadpool. I've enjoyed
the
Galaxy of the
Guardians
of the
Guardians
Galaxy,
of the
whatever.
Guardian Galaxies.
Yeah.
Including the Christmas special.
Yeah, including the Christmas special.
Well, I don't think he produced it. I don't think he directed it.
Still in charge.
Yeah. Well, is he anymore? I mean, he's
Yeah.
DC guy now, man.
Maybe.
So, yeah, I'm
still kind of holding out hope.
hesitantly optimistic.
I'm more hopeful for seeing, and this is maybe not the best place to describe it, but I'm still looking forward to things like Image doing stuff, like Image Comics to do stuff, or Dark Horse to do stuff, some of these, ones that aren't in the mainstream that have really good dark characters, right? Like the Sandman series that came out. I know it's not movie, but they're and Invincible and stuff like that that's coming out now that's being really well done. Let's get it into cinemas.
Yep.
Right? And get it into more creative hands. So, yeah, I would agree. I think this was a tough year for me to make my top 15.
Oh, I sat there and I'm like, I can't believe this.
I don't think I even had 15 Mondos this year.
Well, you didn't get to see as many as us, but yeah.
I think I must have
You
had,
worked too much more.
I think I had 50 Mondos or something ridiculous this year, and I don't sit there and hand them out like candy.
You did a bit this
Sometimes
year.
no.
I gotta admit, you gave a bit of candy out this year.
give
There was a
any candy
Halloween.
out.
There was a Halloween giveaway at Bryce's house. There was so much candy that you gave out.
No, you know not of what you speak.
I can tell
I was
you some.
shocked at some
we'll
of your
take this.
Mondos.
We'll
but-
take it offline. No, you weren't shocked at any of my
Shouldn't be
Mondos.
shocked at mine.
Yeah, one or two.
No, you weren't. You literally said they were all Mondo for you too. So
No, not your top 10 list. Just some of the Mondos you gave
that I
out
gave-
this year.
some of them I gave out just because well, ditto.
No.
Ditto. All right. Well, there's our top 10 and bottom 5, people. I'm sure we're going to piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, we always do.
Yeah, and half of them will go, I've never heard of
They
those
don't care.
movies because they don't go to film festivals.
I speak for the common man.
That's right.
Who doesn't go to film festivals?
That's right.
Even
They
though
go
I
to-
do.
They go to Top Gun Maverick.
That's right.
And on that note,
Yes.
it's time for the Merman Minute.
No, it's not.
It isn't? We have our Film Rage Awards. I almost forgot.
I'm following along here.
We've
I'm not
been-
sure where you are.
I'm in another
I think
planet.
you're still at the Team Canada game.
I'm still on Team Canada game because we just beat the U.S. I'm sorry, our U.S. listeners,
6-2.
but we are going to the finals of the World Juniors.
That's a paddling.
That's a paddling.
Am I going against the team that beat us?
No, we're going against the Chechens.
Yeah, didn't they lose to them? I thought they did.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. We'll find
First
out.
game. I
We'll
stopped
find out
watching.
tomorrow.
Anyway, we'll see.
Find out tomorrow when they play the final.
There you go. I have no idea. I haven't been following the tournament at all.
All right, so this is okay. So for those of you who are listening, we the collective Film Rage. Well, I shouldn't say that we the collective. The majority of Film Rage, which is Bryce and I, and Murray disagrees with. Murray's a huge fan of the award shows, but Bryce and I are anti-award shows, and we feel there really isn't. There really isn't a need to have more than one award. So, Film Rage is giving out. Each of us are giving out their award for this year.
All right. Lay it on me.
I'm sure it doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. I was going to give it to the editing for that one doc. But then I thought, nothing can be better than Dorada Pamacala's performance in
Yeah.
Woman on the Roof. Not necessarily the movie, but her performance. So I'm giving my Film Rage Award for me to Dorada Pamacala.
Dun, 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 dun. Murray.
Alrighty. I am giving mine to an actor.
And us? Oh, so did
You
I.
may know very well.
Is it Ben Affleck?
No,
Oh.
never.
Is it Mark Ruffalo?
Is it Mark Ruffalo?
Mr. Potato, no.
I love Mark Ruffalo.
My
Does he
award,
does he have a movie out right now where he sings stuff?
maybe.
Oh, okay.
You guys don't know this, but the Country Music Awards, CMAs as they're called,
Yep.
Oh, you're going
has
to
an
give something
award
to Country Gold?
called Entertainer of the Year. That's an award they give. And this person was the person who entertained me the most
Mickey Reese.
over the past year. No, Country Gold sucks. Get over it.
Yeah, it's true.
My
It almost
award
made my top 10.
goes to Brad Pitt.
Really?
What is that?
3 performances that I absolutely freaking loved. The first one
Yeah.
was the best thing in an otherwise forgettable movie,
Okay.
Lost City. He was the best thing in that movie.
Yeah, it's true. He
I
was.
like 10 minutes that he was in
I
there.
will not disagree with that.
Next up, of course, Bullet Train.
He was
phenomenal.
He was great.
He
and
was
then
great.
rounded it out with Babylon.
This was a Brad Pitt year.
I
So
think you know what?
It was Brad Pitt's year. That's why he
It
gets
is
the
a
award.
Brad Pitt year. You know
That's
what?
why he gets the award.
I don't disagree with anything you said there,
There you
Murray.
go.
And man, like who else put out 3 movies other than
In 1 year?
Samantha Morton put out 3 movies.
Did she?
Tobey
She
Maguire,
was-
but
she was really good.
didn't he?
I don't think so. Did he?
And that
I think
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
and
was the end
something
of
else?
last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He should put out 3 movies.
He should
you
put
go.
out like 10 movies.
He's getting old.
That's right. Old and
There's-
delicious.
Be a Tobey Maguire movie every week.
That's right.
52 movies a
Tobey-
year.
Our movie of the week. All right. So what's the Bryce Film Rage Award for this year?
Doesn't say Mickey
my
Reese.
what's that?
Don't say Mickey Reese.
No,
No,
it's-
he didn't make it in the top 10.
He didn't
so-
make it my top 10, but man, that movie was awesome. Like that movie, there's just certain movies where you just smile through the whole thing. Country Gold is one of those movies for me. That is a movie I could watch on repeat just over and over again. However, my Film Rage Award goes to, no shock here either, Caleb Landry Jones for the best performance of the year, in my opinion. And this is especially impressive this year because I really believe this is one of the best years for film like ever. It was so rich this year with so many unbelievable performances, but there were multiple actors that just upped their game this year, but none reached the heights of Caleb Landry Jones and Nitram. So much quality this year in cinema, but no one went to any of these. Unfortunately, nobody went to these great movies in cinema, which makes me sad. When I go to like Nitram and I was like 2 other people in the
Yeah, there were
audience,
3 people there.
That's just.
Were
it's
we
just
the other
sad.
2, or is there 2 other people?
No,
plus
there
you,
was 2 others on top of
I
us,
didn't go to it with
besides
you
us.
guys.
Didn't you go with
I
us?
thought you did. Didn't the 3 of us go? I thought
No,
we
we didn't.
Oh well.
No. So, anyways, I guess everybody's too busy going to Avatar and Top Gun and Black Thunder or Black Panther.
Black Panther Thunder.
Whatever. So,
Black Panther's
Black
Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
so, but yes, not taken away from the fact that Caleb Landry Jones had the performance of the year for me.
Nice.
There you go.
And interesting. Our last year awards. I don't think they were all actors.
No.
I think we gave
No,
some
you
films
had
out
some
last year.
directors in there, I think, too.
Or directors, yeah. So
Yeah, I think.
I can't remember.
trying
But
to
you know
remember.
what? We'll go back
really
and listen.
remember.
Yes.
Doesn't matter because this is for 2022.
That's right.
Great list,
See
people.
what 2023 gives us.
2023 will hopefully give us.
I don't even know what's
as
coming
good
out,
a
to be
list.
honest.
It's going to give us Cocaine Bear, which is going to
Oh,
be
yeah,
fantastic.
right. Coke Bear, yeah. All right. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Encino Man. Son-in-law. Airheads. In the Army now. George of the Jungle.
Pauly Shore movies? Oh, what?
Blast from the Past.
Brendan Fraser.
3 Mummy films. Dudley Do-Right,
Dudley's Do
Monkey
Right.
Bone,
Monkey
Bone's
Bone.
awesome.
Journey to the Center of the Earth, Furry Vengeance,
Oh, that's awful.
Hairbrained, and Breakout. This was Brendan Fraser's legacy,
Yep.
his Hollywood career until 2022. I mean, he plays a robot in the series Doom Patrol.
He's awesome in that.
He's behind it, like you can't even tell it's him.
He's still awesome.
Admittedly, I have enjoyed one or two of his films. Bedazzled comes to mind, but that was mostly Elizabeth Hurley in a tight red devil outfit.
Sounds good to me.
The first Mummy wasn't too bad. Better than the Tom Cruise version, anyway. Justin, we were ready to write him off or put him on one of our lists. So you might be already, I don't even know.
Yeah, he literally could have made the doubted list.
He blows the doors off with The Whale. I know we don't care about the Oscars anymore, but if anybody ever deserved to win it, it would be Fraser for this role.
From zero to hero.
That being said, they'll probably give it to Will Smith again, or whatever piece of crap he's in.
No. No, they won't.
They won't let him up on stage, probably.
That's all I got.
That's a sweet minute, Mur.
I know, I try.
Try so
I try and I try.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Sweet, 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 sweet rage. My rage this week is actually a sad rage. I'm going to take you on a journey that I like to call the sadness journey.
Okay.
And
Triangle of Sadness?
it's not quite as that kind of boat ride. But my rage this week is because of what movie made my top film of 2022 and the actor that I gave my Film Rage Award to. That not very many people are going to have seen her and that film.
Yep.
And
sad.
it breaks my heart because people who get to see these levels of performance, people who care about film, not about being entertained, because in my opinion, there's a huge difference. Sure, there's sometimes, I go to see Keanu Reeves movies because I want to be entertained. But when I want to watch a film that's going to move me or change my life for the better, I go to see a film that's going to do that. And I think for my entire list, these were all films that moved me to places that I couldn't have. And that's why my list was made the way it was, because each one of them wasn't just great performances and great films. It was each one of those films moved me in a way that I think I grew as a person. So my rage this week is a sad rage that a lot of people aren't going to get to see it. And I hope that some of the films that have made our top 10 actually do get to some of these award shows that the regular movie-going folk see and will go, wait a minute, maybe I will see these films.
And that's always the hope that
Right.
they'll get a nomination and then it'll see the light that the spotlight should have been shone on them the whole way. But
Right.
sometimes, and that's the one good thing about award season is every now and then a movie that you didn't expect would make it, even though you knew it should, sneaks in.
Well, look at Parasite, right?
And just the fact that it sneaks in, people all of a sudden watch it. And let's hope that happens again for her this year.
Yeah. Well, and just in film in general, right? Like,
Yeah.
how many other great Korean films we got to see? Like Alienoid, stuff like that we got to see Korean films this year, or The Broker.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it was, as I say, this was an awesome year for international, for even domestic stuff. It was just a good year for film.
So people go see some film, not entertainment.
Yeah. Yes. I kind of like this song.
It is. It's catchy. It's brilliant, just like you.
It's good stuff.
It's the good.
So my rage this week, it's kind of a weird rage. Usually I don't really care what other people think, but
It's true, you don't.
I'm just really annoyed by the critics this week, just seeing the things that they've been saying about The Whale. They're saying stuff like this film is so hateful and vile, and I'm like, what are they watching? One reviewer said that it's a cruel spectacle. But this is the same idiot that said Avatar: The Way of Water is tremendously epic and entertaining. So, it's just
how does that person get to be?
It's like it's
a reviewer.
It just makes no sense to me. And I mean, I'm just super annoyed that these idiots are putting Top Gun Maverick on their top 10 lists and just absolutely bashing a film that they just, I don't know how you could not get it. There isn't a cruel bone in this movie's body. Like, this is just, it's crazy that anybody could watch this and see it that way. It's not spectacle. It is character development at its best. It is emotional filmmaking at its best. There is so much to chew on in this movie. This movie makes you think so much. You leave the theater and it stays with you. So I'm just annoyed by it. And as I say, usually it's like whatever. But this in particular, I'm just shocked at how divisive this film has become, where like half are saying it's great and half are saying it's like vile and disgusting. And it's like, what are you watching?
And you know what I would respond to that for people that say that? I think Murray is the perfect barometer.
With that,
I'm giving you props a little bit, Murray, because Murray has a in tune sensitivity to things that he finds vile. Yeah. And if he didn't find this movie vile,
I read one review. They were talking about how they were. It wasn't fat shaming, but it was like something about it was showing overweight people in a negative light or something like that. And I'm like, that wasn't the point of the film.
No, in no way. And if you can, you obviously didn't watch the movie if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, or else they were only concentrating on the fact that it's a 600-pound guy walking around. If
you took a clip of him, rummaging through the drawer and like eating Twinkies or whatever, and that's all you saw, well, that's what you would think of the movie. Yeah. But if you watched the whole movie, that is so far from the point. It is just a heartbreaking, well-told story.
Well, I have to agree with you, critics. I mean, I don't often agree with them because, for example, Black Panther, which again I refuse to see because I didn't see the point. You guys both hated it, and when it came out, I was just curious to see online what people thought of it. They freaking loved it.
Yeah,
they thought it was amazing, and I'm like, okay,
it just makes no sense.
Yeah, I had interestingly, it was. But I think that was one we both raged about. If my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, I would have raged too.
And they, some of the people that, when we posted our post on it, said, we're three white men reviewing a black film, and I'm like, okay, you obviously did not see the same film as us, and we don't. I mean, true, we're white, middle-aged men, but we watch film not through a lens of if anything, I would think the black community would be offended by it, but apparently,
no, they weren't.
Yeah.
We don't have the right to judge a film based on whether or not the film is good.
Yeah, which is odd.
It is.
It is. But to each their own, I guess.
Yep.
All right.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
At Cinema Recall, we want to present to you the finest in film analysis.
Yeah, like action and gore and sex.
We will look at classics by Kubrick, Lynch, Godard, De Palma, and Coppola.
I don't know who the that is, but I'm looking at classic bodies of Christina Hendricks, Keanu Reeves, Salma Hayek, Ryan Reynolds.
We are a serious show for film lovers who enjoy indie foreign films, art house gems, and classic black and white features.
Well, I enjoy big budget blockbusters with great action and sexy people. Maybe our podcast can celebrate all aspects of films, like people who feel like your weird way and like people who feel like my weird way can like get together, man.
They can?
Yeah.
Huh. I like that.
Cinema Recall is available everywhere you find great podcasts. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram under Cinema Recall Podcast and on Twitter at cinema_recall.
I love those guys.
Welcome back to Rage or Dare. So much has happened since last you had the pleasure of hearing the dulcet tones of my voice. You know, the god of rage, me, Casey, aka the nerdy photographer. Now, let's get you caught up. Bryce was broken doomed to my delectable, torturous bag of evil remakes. Then Jim gave him an early Christmas present by letting him watch the fantastic Val Kilmer in Hard Cash. Jim and Bryce were dared to see The Shape of Things by the fantastic podcast Cinema Recall. And finally, Jim pulled Staying Alive from the Death by High School musical bag. Whew, I thought my holiday season was busy. So, this week, Bryce and Jim will be letting us know why Cinema Recall thought anyone would want to see an old Paul Rudd movie. Next week, we'll catch up with Jim on John Travolta's dance moves. And then after that, guess what? That's right, we'll see if I can re-break Bryce and Jim, who's along for the ride as they suckle from the bosom of my torturous bag of evil remakes. Yes, next time let's re-break Bryce.
He is so evil.
I love him. He's the god of rage, man. He's not just a nerdy photographer. He's the motherfucking god of rage. I love that, man. Every single thing about him. So we got to see The Shape of Things because Bryce was able to find this sweet little gem in a little tiny used video store, and we watched it on Betamax. No, that wasn't it. It wasn't Betamax. Was it? No, it wasn't VHS. I think it was on DVD. But didn't even have the Blu-ray. It was the DVD version because it certainly wasn't Blu-ray quality that we watched it on. I can 100% guarantee that.
No, it wasn't.
So, Elvis Costello does the music? Already this is a Mondo. And opens with Rachel taking pictures of statues' penises? Why would someone dare us to see this? Oh, right. Because after an amazing first 5 minutes and hearing a song by Elvis Costello, it went from awesome to awful in a matter of seconds. They took it to annoying and added 2 more characters, one of which who couldn't act his way up the sphincter of the pits of hell. If he was covered in ice cubes dipped in anal lube, then it seems to rub off on Paul Rudd. I mean, to see Paul Rudd become repulsive in one easy step, and the dialogue all seemed not natural, almost like they were trying to make a vintage stage play where no one knew how to act. The pacing was off and seemed unnatural and choppy. It's like High School Musical 2 without music. They promised Elvis Costello, and there wasn't enough of him either. The acting was very much like a bad acting virus. When Frederick Weller, who played Philip, came on screen, dripping with his parasitic disease of repulsive acting, who then infected Paul Rudd, who then infected Rachel Weisz, who finally infects Gretchen Mol, as much as after the first 5 minutes, the entire film was repulsively awful. Then we get a great reveal.
Okay.
Which, although was clever, but couldn't make up for how bad the rest of the film was. On top of that, they could have ended this film after the great reveal. But just like 95% of this movie, they couldn't end the film right. They had to ruin that also.
Yeah.
Here are the things that were good in this movie.
Okay.
2 Elvis Costello songs.
Yep.
The first 5 minutes.
Yep.
The reveal.
Yep.
The 2 girls in the park who randomly walked by.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
I forgot about them.
The rest of this was a rage, which makes the entire film a rage. This film was so awful. I've never seen a movie where the acting was so choppy and delivered so badly. It was painful to watch. Every 5 minutes I was going, what the? what is happening? And the dude and I know you thought it was cute, but his acting was so awful.
No, it was good.
No, he was
a redeeming quality of the film.
He was
hilarious.
He was repulsively awful.
He started repulsively awful.
No, he stayed repulsively awful.
Oh, that was what made him good, though.
No, it did not make it good.
Yeah, so this, as you mentioned, this started out really promising. In the first 5 minutes, I was like you. I was like, why are they daring us to see this? We got Elvis Costello. We got the initial scene in the
art gallery.
In the art gallery,
where she's taking pictures of penises, right?
It was a museum.
Yeah, sure, that too.
Let's go with museum.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it started out with some promise. I will say that from the very get-go, Paul Rudd's nose was very distracting to me.
It was.
I mean, it ends up going somewhere, but I was like, did he have a nose job? And like, that's all I could think about as I was watching the movie. And I will say that while this prosthetic nose that he had on, it actually looked pretty good.
It did.
It also looked different from scene to scene. His nose was a little bigger, a little small. It was a little flatter sometimes not quite as flat. It was always big, but it was slightly different from scene to scene if you go back and watch it, which you obviously won't. I disagree. Frederick Weller as Philip was hilarious.
He was not.
He started out.
He was painfully awful.
I hated him for the first little bit. I'm like, oh my God, this guy is so bad. But it's one of those deals where sometimes so bad is good.
No.
And after being just absolutely smashed in the face with his acting for like an hour, it started to get funny to me. And maybe I was just giddy from the fact that I was
giddy of the stupidity of the film.
It was so stupid.
He was terrible. He got worse as the movie went on.
But the things that he would say were just hilarious.
Just because the dialogue was so bad.
And he'd add like a little facial expression after he'd done saying whatever he would say. And it was all so bad that I couldn't help but giggle. I actually found his performance a redeeming quality in the fact that it was so bad that I was actually enjoying the absolute dread of his performance.
I was just in dread.
He steals the show.
No.
But yeah, to your point, this actually had a good ending, at least what should have been the ending. If it would have ended like 7 minutes before it actually ended, it was perfect.
Yep.
It
still would have been a rage.
It still would have been a rage because there's so much awful in the middle, but it had a good ending.
Yep.
It could have had a good reveal. That's a good way to say.
Yep.
And in the middle, it was god awful, and the ending was god awful, and yeah, it was a rage. But Philip was kind of funny.
Philip was awful, but you know what? The most important thing is that the Vern and Ashley nailed it.
Yes.
They dared us to see a terrible movie.
It was very, very
that
bad.
Fueled our rage.
It did indeed.
So, as Casey said, when we come back next week, I will be talking about staying alive. Staying alive. Staying alive. Oh!
Okay.
Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks, Extended Film Rage family. You can find them in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, the nerdy photographer, the god of rage, for the voice of Rage or Dare. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, or send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see a terrible movie to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 pretty please, 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 make us a rage. That's it for this week. A rage on.
Rage on.